Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for May the 6th, 2020. Today I'd like to talk about two subjects. The first being Jennie Formby, the General Secretary for Labour, stepping down. The second being a trade minister called Conor having to resign because of something he did. I figured since they both fell loosely into the area of stepping down, we could address both of them at once. So first to Jennie Formby, who's currently at the centre of an argument over the leaked 860-page dossier because she could in fact sue the party. And because she's the General Secretary, or was, the blame does go in her direction. Jennie Formby put out a statement on Twitter concerning this, saying that when I applied for the role of General Secretary in 2018, it was because I wanted to support Jeremy Corbyn, who inspired so many people to get involved in politics with his message of hope, equality, and peace. It has been a huge privilege to be General Secretary of the largest political party in Europe for the last 2 years. But now we have a new leadership team. It is the right time to step down. I would like to thank Jeremy, our members and my staff colleagues who have given me so much support during what has been a very challenging period, in particular when I was suffering from ill health. She had cancer. I wish Keir and Angela the very best of luck in taking the party forward and leading Labour to victory at the next general election. Press X to doubt, I guess? It was always known, to be honest, that she was going to step down as General Secretary by the time of the party conference, which is in September, which may just be Keir Starmer talking to an empty room if social distancing is being applied, or around the time of the Equality and Human Rights Commission's report being published. So her choosing to go now implies going out on her terms and not because of her getting sacked. To choose a new successor, the NEC or National Executive Committee need to meet to set a timetable to select that person. Now, while people like Keir Starmer has paid tribute to her, Margaret Hodge indicated that she was the last remnant of Corbyn's reign, and that a line could now be drawn under the last 4 years. Others like Andy McDonnell have credited her for her serving while battling cancer, and Momentum have said that she inherited a bureaucracy that was hostile to Jezza's leadership. Tinfoil hat required, please. And to go back to Margaret Hodge for a second, she's had great issues with Labour's handling of anti-Semitism, and it can be argued rightly so. So moving on from that, we should now talk about Conor, who was a trade minister, who recently resigned after a report had found out that he had used his position as an MP to intimidate a member of the public. This comes from the Common Standard watchdog that said he made veiled threats to use parliamentary privilege to further his family's interests in a financial dispute involving his father. This goes back to February, where Conor wrote to a member of the public connected to a company with whom his father was in a dispute over the repayment of a loan. He had written, "I am acutely aware that my role in the public eye could well attract interest, especially if I were to use parliamentary privilege to raise the case." Parliamentary privilege, for those who don't know, insulates, protects MPs from being sued for defamation for speeches made in Parliament. The Committee on Standards concluded in their report that Conor had tried to intimidate the member of the public, and it was an abuse of his position as an MP which required a sanction more severe than an apology. In March, Conor did in fact apologise to the committee, saying that he should not have written to the member in the terms he did, using Commons-headed notepaper. That particular notepaper is only allowed to be used for parliamentary business. To do so against it does carry a sanction. His claim originally was that he was motivated by a desire to resolve the long-running dispute, as it had had a significant impact on his father's health. The committee disagrees and say that he was driven by a sense of anger which impacted his judgment negatively. The report has called as a sanction for him to be suspended from Parliament for 7 days. Since Parliament is barely sitting anyway, he's just losing 7 days' pay. He earns 81 grand a year, not including what he gets for being in the cabinet. Well, what he was getting for the 4 to 5 months he served in the cabinet. Wow, you really were a trailblazer before you got sent to the back of the benches. Those 10 years working to get to the cabinet were totally worth it for those 4 months. Genius. With both these stories, I'm very much interested to know what you think. So please do let me know in the comments down below. There should be a PMQs on today, so that'll be tomorrow's video.